Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. Here at The Cheap Audio Man, we help everyone find high-value hi-fi, home theater, and headphone equipment. And today, we're talking about the Sabaj A1. It's a little tiny desktop amplifier. So, sit down, grab a cup of coffee. Don't break your coffee mug because then it's hot to hold and you can stab yourself right there in the finger. Grab a cup of coffee and let's talk about the Sabaj A1. Sabaj. Working on your vintage receiver or anything else related to your hi-fi system? Don't use any old screwdriver. Use a Sith Audio audiophile tiny screwdriver. They're only $99.99, but what they do is they have nanobot technology that makes sure you're not going to ground yourself out or have ESD discharges through your face. The Sith Audio audiophile screwdriver, little screwdriver. It's got a Phillips on one head, flat on the other. Actually, that's the Phillips. Flat on the other. They're not at all Snyder Electric giveaway screwdrivers. $99.99. Savage. This is a little desktop amplifier. Think Fuzzy Audio BT28, which is really cool because the Fuzzy Audio BT28 was one of my first reviews. I had a lot of fun with that review. I still have it. I don't quite know where it's at. It's somewhere though. This thing comes in around $70, maybe 60 bucks. Really straightforward. You have Bluetooth and an RCA connection. That's it. So you have two options for input. Really, you have one option because the Bluetooth works. On the back, it's again very straightforward. You have a pair of RCAs and then the Bluetooth antenna, which I took off because there is not a lot of real estate right here on the speaker binding post. Next to that, you have a 24 volt power supply receptacle. Comes with a 24 volt 6.75 amp power brick. That is, okay, actually labeled Sabaj. Oftentimes with these types of amplifiers, you just kind of get a no-name power supply. It's probably just a sticker, okay? So this probably still is a no-name power supply, but at least they had the thought to put a sticker on it, okay? Does it make a difference? I don't know. This amplifier uses the Infineon MA12070 amp chip. That may sound familiar if you're an audio nerd like myself, because there are a lot of products that use the MA12070 chip, including the very popular SMSL SA300, the very popular SMSL 8018, the very popular SMSL DA9, which is one of my all-time favorite Class D amplifiers. It's a balanced amplifier, has a bunch of EQ settings. These are not all created equal because I think there are variations on the chip, okay? They all have similar sound characteristics. The DA9, though, kind of bucks the trend because there's a bunch of DSP EQ settings. So the one thing we need to talk about is power. All right, this may dissuade some people, or make people look elsewhere. Okay, if I'm looking at the, I went ahead and ignored the Amazon listing. But if I am looking at the spec sheet for the 12070 chip, it gives you some power ratings. Some of those power ratings are at 10% total harmonic distortion, which is not really a usable number. On the spec sheet, it's 2 times 30 watts continuous output power, 8 ohms, okay? But that's 22 volts into 10% total harmonic distortion. So this power supply is a 24 volt power supply, so you're gonna get some more power. And there's a heat sink in here, so you're gonna get some more power too. And 2 times 80 watts, 4 ohms, okay? So the true power ratings are kind of, I would say, a little bit more difficult to find. What I will say is I don't think it really matters because I was using the Project Speakerbox 5. I'll show you a picture of. I was using those in my office to listen to this amp because I think that's what application they would be in. This is probably going to be used in probably a desktop situation. Could be a soundbar replacement, but there's no subwoofer out. You could, use speaker level outs to get into a sub. So this could be used as a soundbar replacement if you have a DAC with a remote control. Anyway, and you just hide it behind the TV. Anyway, the takeaway is these speakers, the Project Speakerbox 5, they're not the most efficient speakers on the planet. I think they're only 86 dB efficient. I was able to get them rocking and rolling up to 90 dB. First, I was surprised that this did not distort. Second, I was surprised that the speakers didn't start to fall apart. Not fall apart literally, but fall apart figuratively. Because usually around 85 dB, some speakers can start to kind of get sloppy, real jumbled up, especially low price speakers around 85 dB. Speakerbox 5 held their own, and this little guy held its own. Overall tonality, kind of personality of this amp is a little bit dry, on the dry side, just like the SA300, just like the AD18, just like the DA9, except when you put the DA9 into an EQ mode. But we have tone controls. Now, tone controls are not going to cover every sin on an amplifier, but they can somewhat tailor the music to your taste. They're kind of heavy-handed. If you just make a slight adjustment, you're gonna hear a pretty significant difference. One of the weirder things about the Sabaj A1 was as I turned it up in volume, the sound seemed to come together more cohesively. Anything north of 80 dB started sounding really good. I was like, huh, I don't even think this sounds, you know, kind of dry and a little bit analytical anymore. It sounds pretty good. Lower volumes can sound a little dry, but you can add a little bit of tone controls on there. Mid-range is going to seem a bit thin at lower volumes. All in all, though, I was pretty impressed with the sound. If you're getting any value out of this video, consider subscribing. We just went over 100,000 subscribers, which is awesome. If you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon. You can use the thanks button, which is below the video next to the share button. If you don't want to be a Patreon, if you don't want to use affiliate links, you can buy me a new coffee mug because this one's broken, or send me $1 or $2. It's up to you. You don't have to do anything. But consider subscribing, turning on all the notifications, bells and whistles. I don't know if they have whistle notifications, but if they do, turn them on. Let's do a size comparison. This is a tube compared to the amp. All right, hold on. We're going to go whoop, 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 whoop. All right, so this is slightly less tall than a tube. This is the size of the amplifier compared to a out of this world dad statue. They don't just give these out to anybody, by the way. No. These are well earned, hard to get. This is what it looks like with Rocktopus on top. Look at it. Looks like Rocktopus is taking over. Like he's the Kraken. I'm taking over the Sabaj A1. This is how big it is compared to Darth Vader. So the A1 also super light. Is this the A1 or the A7? It's like a cursive 1. Let me make sure this is right. Yeah, it says it's the A1. Okay, here's the thing about the A1. It is so light that I had some decent RCAs, and I had the Geshelli Labs J2 providing source stuff for it, material. Anyway, this was so light, by the time I got some speaker cables put in there, I had to put Audiophile Monkey on there. Audiophile Monkey's kind of like a paperweight. We need to bring Audiophile Monkey back. We need to bestow him upon a speaker. Audiophile Monkey is for when a speaker's not good, and he's looking out at all the other speakers that are better than him, or he or she, and thinking, man, I wish I was as good as that speaker. I guess we could use it for amplifiers, really anything. There are a litany of these things out there. Very small, chip-based, desktop amplifiers. Some with tone controls. Bunch of competition out there. All around the same price point. Some of them use different chipsets. So the Fuzzy Audio BT20A uses I believe it's a Texas Instruments 3116. I believe that's the chip it uses. There are sound differences. The Fuzzy Audio has a more, what I would consider balanced sound, more organic sound from what I remember listening to regular receivers, AB receivers growing up as a kid. Maybe not be as detailed on top or as clean on top as this, but to my ear, my preference, I like the Fuzzy Audio BT28. However, not all is lost because I was shocked and surprised at how good this sounded north of 80 dB. Now, that might be a little loud for you in the near field if you're using this for a desktop amplifier. However, if you use this as a soundbar replacement with any DAC that has a remote control, this could be great. This could be great. And if you're doing a lot of TV watching through something like this, you're going to need a DAC though. Unless your TV has probably a 3.5 millimeter out, you're going to need a DAC. I really don't have any complaints. I think also the Aiyima A07 sounds better. Sounds more, okay, it doesn't sound better. It sounds better to me. Personally, it has a more organic tone to it, but I'm actually pretty surprised. So even though the power specs are kind of a mystery on this, it's putting out enough power that it's not distorting and it's getting 90 dB out of a pair of 86 dB sensitive speakers. 86 dB sensitive speakers basically means these are harder to drive. So to get 90 dB out of these Project Speaker 5s, Project Speaker Box 5s, it takes a little bit of get up and go juice. No real complaints about this. At 70 bucks, I think this is, I wouldn't say like the walkaway winner, but it's a good option. One thing you get with this that you don't get with the Aiyima A07 is tone controls. The problem is that Aiyima A07 sounds so good, it doesn't really need tone controls. So I think the A07 comes in around 80 or 80 bucks. A little bit bigger, you can switch out op amps, but there's nothing wrong with the Sabaj A1. Personally, I'm probably sticking with the A07. Bluetooth you can use. Bear in mind though, you are going to lose a lot of resolution because I think this is an SBC codec. The good news though about the A1 compared to the Fuzzy Audio BT28 is it actually has a toggle switch for the Bluetooth. The Fuzzy Audio BT28 just had Bluetooth, and when you latched onto it the first time, be careful, because even if you would delete that from your phone, as far as the Fuzzy Audio BT28, it would just lock on. You could never really get it to let go. So I think they may have upgraded that, but there's a switch on this one at least, which is nice. Build quality is just fine. If you want that analytical sound, if you're going to be doing TV, there's nothing wrong with this thing at all. So if you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon only Zoom. You also have a patron only Facebook group, patron only Discord group. Some tiers you can do a one-on-one with me. You can use the affiliate links to buy the Sabaj A1. If you buy it, I do get a commission. But if you don't want to use that, you can use the thanks button, which is down by the share buttons, which is kind of like and dislike down at the bottom of the screen. Okay, you can also sign up for Amazon Music or Tidal. Links in the description. If you sign up even for a trial, I do get a couple of bucks. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge a listen, maybe through your Sabaj A1. Don't stab yourself with your broken coffee mug. And fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.